Welcome
to Munda Make Over.
We have traveled all over Zambia to find hardworking farmers.
We want to share their success stories,
And where there are challenges, we will bring experts to help them gain the extra knowledge they need.
so they can adapt and make their farms more productive even while the climate changes
We want to support them to get better yields.
and increase their income.
We will see how farmers from across the country can benefit from our experts' advice.
While also learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experiences as they improve their farms.
On
Munda Make Over!
Hi, Kozi.
Hello, Vikacha. This week we are in Luwingu District.
Where the Munda Make Over Team is gracing a couple that has grown together in love
Ooh.
and in their farming business.
I'm excited about this week's farmers because I love a couple that grow together in love and grow crops together for the love of farming.
Ooh, buzz, Kozi, buzz. I will give you flowers later. But for now, let's go and see how we can help them.
Cool. This week we're in Luwingu District in Luapula Province, the land of beautiful waterfalls. Vikacha, I feel like just staring at this the whole day.
Come on, Kozi. Our farmers are waiting. We're visiting Maybin Chomba, who is married to Alice Chomba.
Our farmers for today are doing everything possible to sustain their small-scale farming business.
They also use their farm as a source of food to feed their 8 children and 5 grandchildren. Let's see how we can help them improve their farming business.
Looks lovely. Oh, there we go. Hello. How are you? Okay. Now we understand you're a very hard-working farmer, isn't that right,
Yeah.
Vikacha? So we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What challenges do you have?
Emkwaye turakwata ama challenges ngomwine balandira especially ngani kuri tute pali ino shita tulipo.
Instead, yale ya tambala lefi, yale petana so, yale
Sana.
How is your farming going?
Bulimi limo turakwata kwa ama challenges kwa kukana ishibe milimi isoma.
Okay.
Good methods.
Kuladi mafyefyo twasambirira kuba fyashibe swa bakali.
So what we're going to do is we'll go bring the experts for you, and then they are going to teach you the right ways, the answers you're looking for.
Is that okay with you, Twaya? We can go and then we can come back?
Okay.
Okay, Twatasha ma'am. Thank you.
Kwena twali abansansa kwena twali teminwe chine chini twati tuse tuishibye febala tuletera ko tusambirire.
We are also not happy with how they are storing their harvest, so Munda Makeover will do something about it. But first, let's look at the cassava.
We have invited Noah Manda from the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, to come and help. The majority of the rural population in Africa depends on what they grow to feed themselves, and they also sell the produce in order to improve their livelihoods. So making sure their crops are healthy is one of IITA's top priorities.
Itute yatampire fye ukukwata amafya liradi nefe twayibyerero yamenene.
I'm sure you did an inspection. What have you noticed?
What I've noticed is that the biggest challenge the farmer has, they've been using recycled seed for a very long time.
I see.
And that has brought about the accumulation of viral diseases.
Wow.
For instance, these wrinkled and yellowish leaves, parts of the leaves, the cells, they have died.
Right.
So meaning the plant is not able to photosynthesize
Properly.
You know, the production part of the plant is the leaves.
Of course.
Meaning even the yield down there is not going to bulk the roots.
Right.
Yeah. This particular symptom is caused by a virus. That virus, it causes the disease called Cassava mosaic disease. Once the virus has gone into the plant, if you move the planting material, you go and plant it elsewhere.
To
You
be
are
in that field as
actually
well.
transferring the
Oh
disease.
my goodness.
So this distribution we are seeing here is because of continuous recycling of the same diseased plant. So
Wow.
this is what has resulted into this problem.
Ish.
Yeah.
What do you feel the way forward is for Mr. Maybin to start changing the way he can, go about his farming activity?
So the first thing that he can do is to use clean planting materials.
Okay.
That is the first line of defense.
Okay.
The second one is where you use resistant varieties. The Zambia Agricultural Research Institute in Zambia, it's mandated to release varieties.
Right.
They have worked on new improved varieties.
I see.
For instance, Mweru is quite tolerant to this particular disease.
I see.
So if the farmer uses that particular one, it doesn't get much affected with this disease.
I see.
So use of improved varieties as well as making sure of using clean ones, those that are disease-free.
Makes sense? Let's break it down. So Maybin's cassava has cassava mosaic disease. The leaves are wrinkled and have yellow patches. This means the plant can't make enough food to grow the roots, and which means low yields. The solution is to plant clean planting materials, but even better is to get improved varieties from Zari, such as Mweru, that is easily found in Luapula.
When I was inspecting his field to check what the problems are,
Yeah.
I picked up one plant and found that it has this kind of rotting.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a hard rot.
Right.
These are strong symptoms of cassava brown streak disease, CBSD. To manage this disease, we use clean seed that are coming from areas that are known not to have this disease.
I see.
Okay? And then we also use improved varieties.
Right. It seems one of the best solutions to these cassava diseases is using clean and improved varieties.
The other kind of rotting that I found is this kind of soft rot.
It looks like there's a lot
And
of moisture in there.
Yes, a lot of moisture, and then it can even have maggots in it, and
Right.
it even smells.
Right.
Yeah. This kind of rotting is caused by organisms such as fungus or maybe bacteria. Yeah, with good agricultural practices, this can actually be managed.
To avoid the soft rot in his cassava, Maybin should practice good agricultural methods. He should plant his cassava on ridges, so when it rains too much, the cassava does not rot. He should also avoid harvesting his cassava in bits, whereby farmers harvest the big roots in a plant and leave the smaller ones to continue growing. This is because during harvesting, some plants get injured and the bacteria or fungus from the soil finds a way into the plant and the roots start rotting. So it's good to harvest the whole plant at once. Maybe we can do a demonstration of how to plant an improved variety.
Yeah, sure.
Lead the way.
We are planting the certified improved cassava variety called Mweru. Mweru is not resistant to cassava brown streak disease, but is tolerant to cassava mosaic disease. So it's recommended to use clean planting materials to manage the disease in the short term and to use resistant varieties when they are available. Maybin can purchase clean seed from certified seed producers or Zari and IITA.
Spacing is very important. Ridges should be 1 meter apart.
So make sure that middle of the ridge, that's where the meter is sitting.
Okay, I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
And from stem to stem is also 1 meter. Planting materials should be 25 to 30 centimeters with evenly spaced nodes.
3/4 of the stem has to go in the soil.
This is looking good. A fresh start to farming cassava correctly and making way to a better yield.
Now I am taking Maybin to a farm nearby. Our farmers have recently joined a cooperative which has a 2-hectare demo plot that shows more ways of fighting climate change.
In the meantime, I noticed that our farmers are storing their harvest and all their farming materials like fertilizer, pesticides, and animal feeds together. This is not good. It can result in contamination and lower the quality of our harvest. So, to keep the harvest safe, Munda Makeover is building a shed for them to store their fertilizer, pesticides, animal feed, and other farm equipment.
Have you ever wondered as a farmer why your yield is not improving? even if you do everything the right way, weather patterns have become so unpredictable due to climate change. So farmers, what good agricultural practices can we use to counter climate change?
Meet Aaron Motale from the Ministry of Agriculture. Aaron offers technical support to the cooperative on the management of their 2-hectare demo plot. The cooperative uses this demo plot to show farmers different ways that help to fight climate change. They practice conservation agriculture, which has 3 main principles: minimum tillage, crop rotation plus intercropping, and soil cover.
I think, Mr. Chomba, you have observed that this time the way we receive rainfall is not the way we used to receive rainfall previously.
Yeah.
Even the occurrences of pests and diseases this time is very much prevalent compared to other years.
Kulaba mwalima, adira mwalima, limbi mfula yaperera panshira tairokere bwino bwino. Then mwalima, adira mwalima, mfula yalokesha fyasendwa. Limbi mwalima, mfula yalokesha, tumfundolera mwabika, tuwaingira tonse panshi.
Like many farmers across Zambia, our farmer has experienced climate change and would like to learn more on this.
So what we are doing to counter climate change as a ministry, in collaboration with the CIMIT and SFAS, the FAO, we are trying to promote technologies that are sustainable, that can help our farmers. We are encouraging them to, at a given plot, you grow a lot of crops, so that we reduce on cutting trees year in and out. So meaning within a small portion, like where we are, say 2 hectares.
Okay.
So here you can even have 5 different crops that a farmer can harvest from 2 hectares, particularly in the first year.
Apart from not cutting trees to create more farming land, planting many crops in a season helps because if the weather changes, some crops will survive and the farmer will be left with something to harvest.
If you look at this portion of land, it's 2 hectares. So it has 4 plots.
Okay.
The first one, we integrate maize, Glycidia and velvet beans.
Okay.
Glycidia is very good at adding fertility to the soil, so the maize will benefit from that. Maize takes a lot of nitrogen when growing, so velvet beans will help fixing nitrogen back into the soil. The velvet beans also spread on the ground, and this is good because it will provide soil cover for the maize.
Then the second plot is called soil health, where we also do minimum tillage to ensure that our soils are not disturbed.
The cooperative second plot demonstrates the first principle of conservation agriculture, which is minimum tillage. So when it comes to planting, the cooperative will just dig where they're going to put the seed instead of the whole farm. This will minimize evaporation from the soil and more moisture will be preserved, and in case of drought, the crop will survive. And if there is also too much rain, the soil won't get carried away. And in areas like Northern Province that receives very heavy rainfall, farmers are encouraged to do permanent ridges so the soils are not disturbed a lot. And when it rains, water is collected on the side and prevents crops being ruined and soil being swept away. Another major benefit of minimum tillage is also the way it improves the soil structure, and this helps in how water spreads into the soil. The cooperative also left the residue in the field, which is another principle of conservation agriculture called soil cover.
Those crop retention, they help to improve the structure of the soil. On top of that, they act as mulch. You find that wherever there is crop residue retention, there are no weeds. It's also a suppressor. Yes.
Okay.
And on top of that, if you have 5-7 days without rains, where there are crop residues, which is acting as mulch, the retention of water is very high compared to a land that is just plain.
Okay.
Yes.
You can also do soil cover by use of a cover crop such as legumes.
We are also using velvet beans.
Okay.
Yes.
Velvet beans. I've never heard of that. Mr. Chomba, do you know velvet beans?
Nemkwaye, nani njishwa velvet beans.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice.
Nalibo mshapo in last season. Apo na ili mine na pamoneka ukufunda. Ila wesesha ama nutrients kumushiri. Ila bikamo nitrogen.
Very nice testimony right here. You must be happy, Mr. Mutaria.
Yeah. Also, just to add on, velvet beans also acts as a weed suppressor in the field.
So, for example, if you plant your maize together with a cover crop like beans, then the beans will spread and cover the whole ground, and the weeds won't have space to come out.
And apart from that, we're encouraging farmers to do crop rotation.
Crop rotation and intercropping is the other principle of conservation agriculture.
Crop rotation minimizes the prevalence of pests from one crop to another.
One crop to another.
Yes, I think you have seen the occurrences of the armyworm.
How are we sure that the previous crop didn't leave any pests in there that can affect the next crop that you want to plant in there?
You have to look at the type of the crop.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't just crop rotate using the same kind of crops, like from the same family. For example, you cannot do crop rotation using maize and sorghum.
Right.
Mostly we do the cereals and the legumes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because find that the pests that attack the cereals, they are different from that attack the legumes.
File mfika ba Chomba.
Kainde umfa bwino sana.
Okay, nice.
With all the advice Maybin has gotten so far, we are now sure of a bumper harvest. This means we need to have a proper market too. Let me ask Kozi to handle that. Farmers in remote areas like Luwingu struggle to access markets due to big volumes required by the buyer.
Nga twasombola tute tatwakwata market uko akushitisha. Yena ila shupa fisana. Ero amataba nayo nga twasombola. Oko tutwala nako kumushika nako kupata liko kufuma pano emkwae.
But this has now changed because Maybin and Alice recently joined a European-funded CIFAR's project initiative implemented by FAO, CIMIT, and the Ministry of Agriculture in Zambia. They are now in a cooperative.
Nga twapwisha twasombola.
Okay.
As a cooperative tulafibika pamo ilo tuashitisha.
Okay, so you're a part of a cooperative.
Yeah.
Ishina ya cooperative?
Ni Mupango cooperative.
Part of Mupango cooperative.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, our farmers are putting their harvest together or bulking with other members of the cooperative to have easy access to markets. Aaron Mutale from the Ministry of Agriculture came back to the farm with us and will explain more on markets.
Our role as a ministry is to ensure that farmers have access to buyers of the commodity. And then we always encourage group marketing.
Right.
You know, even these buyers, they want large quantities. So now if you look at our farmers, you find that they are farming small areas.
Maybe they'll do one or two
limas. You know, when these buyers come, they want to find at least large quantities.
Right. So farmers, join a cooperative near you and begin to get the benefits of selling together as a group. Transport becomes easier and cheaper when shared. And with bulk buying, most buyers come to collect from the farmer's central drop-off, which saves the cooperative some money.
Another big advantage is that the initiative led by FAO, working with CIMIT and the Ministry of Agriculture, has already secured some markets for these cooperatives.
Currently, under beans in this area, we already have an established Good Nature Agro.
Great. And
the World Food Program.
Fantastic.
And on top of that, those who are seed growers, they also sell their seed, I think, through Zambia Agricultural Research Institute, Cassava.
I see. With these secured markets, the biggest push is now to maintain the quality of the crops. So, by being in a cooperative, our farmers also benefit from the technical advice. With them being together in a group, does it make it a bit easier for the ministry, or you prefer that you work with the individual farmers with spreading knowledge?
No, it works better in the group.
Right.
And currently as Mupango, I think there have been capacity also on financial literacy.
Fantastic.
I thought also with the digital payments that have come on board.
Right.
So that in terms of payments, it's also not taking long.
Aha.
Yes. Also encourage that they shouldn't grow and sell. They should grow to sell.
Right.
So meaning before going into any commodity, a farmer should already have found a market.
Indeed.
We encourage them to sign contracts, especially through groupings.
Okay.
If they find a buyer, they go into negotiations, they sign a contract. In that way, it's 50-50 situation, and
Fantastic.
farmers will find that it's very easy.
Okay, that is sounding good. Yes.
And on top of that, we're encouraging them, instead of just selling the raw materials, that with these CDF that have come, they can apply, purchase an equipment so that they can start value addition.
Right.
So it can attract a good price at the end of the day.
Good. Now, farmers, 3 key takeaways from our learnings here today. Remember, good agricultural practices guarantee you better yields. Secondly, working in cooperatives gives you an opportunity to put your harvest together, gives you more bargaining power, and may make it easier to access markets. And thirdly, sign contracts with your off-takers. That guarantees your crop being sold from the day you plant.
Mkwaye tuwalaba abashulimi basuma okulingana n'efyo ama experts batufundira.
Next, we're going to look at the weather.
Welcome to Munda Make Over, drought special for Zambia. Because of climate change, we expect dry conditions to continue across Zambia, with few areas getting good rains. Drought is one of the most disastrous climate-related threats that affects agriculture, the environment, infrastructure, and socio-economic activities. With the current dry condition across the country, ensure to practice conservation farming, which includes digging, where you want to plant your seed only and not the entire farm. Covering the soil with dry grass or leaves to help retain water in the soil, and planting cover crops. If you have access to water for irrigation, consider planting early maturing maize varieties and other alternative crops such as early maturing legumes and vegetables to cope with the impacts of dry spells. Consider making silage from maize that has no chance of recovering to feed your livestock in this dry season. Preserve fodder so that you may have enough food for your livestock, as pasture might not be enough this year. Scout your farm for pests and control them as soon as you spot them with the recommended pesticides. Report any unusual insects or crop diseases to the nearest agricultural office. If your area gets rain, collect water from your roof to your storage points such as tanks and drums. Ensure to clean your roof and gutters to get clean water. Preserve food by sun-drying, salting, and fermenting for use throughout the dry season. Destock your livestock and keep those you are able to care for properly. You can restock when normalcy returns. Now is the best time to use non-farm rural activities such as craft production to earn income. For further assistance and information, contact the nearest agricultural officer.
Our storage unit is done and it looks good. Better still, our harvest is now safe. All farm materials like pesticides, fertilizer will not be kept in this shade.
Hello. Well done, Catman. Fantastic.
Kulingana n'efyo twamona n'efyo twasambirira. First time okumona po storage yaso. So nango abana enso ama visitors nango abali kuno ama farmers banenso bakula ipush. So chala bali school.
Yeah, so thank you. So that's it for this week.
We'll see you next week
on another episode of Munda Make Over.